Hello and welcome to Scott's Garage. If you look at these photos, I was walking Willie around the block as I do every day, and leaning up against a tree was a couple of free pallets. So I finished Willie's walk, I went and got my dolly and brought them home, not really knowing exactly what I was going to do with them. I thought, well, I'll figure out something. And so what I thought of is I would try to make something simple and kind of fun that maybe everybody could make, and I thought of a birdhouse. So what I did is I sat down and I looked at some of the uh, different designs of birdhouses on the internet and found one that I like. And so I'd like to show you what I came up with right now. So I was looking at a few different designs. I kind of have this one, you can see up here. And then I had this one here, which I kind of liked. I didn't really like the top round thing. So I kind of took aspects from each one and then came up with some dimensions, sort of standard dimensions, and then I started working on a drawing. So there are lots of different designs that I could do. One had like a square base that overhang all four sides, or even in the back. But I thought I wanted even on the sides and the back, and just this bottom thing to stick out a little bit so like birds could stand there. I'm also going to have a hole here, 1.5 inch diameter, or whatever my hole saw is that I have, and then maybe a peg that sticks out here so the birds can land on it. And then just two simple roof pieces. This roof piece is the same size as the base, and it kind of overhangs this. This one's a little bit narrower because we're missing that piece there, but it's the same length. Then you have two sides and then a front and a back, and that's it. Not sure how I'm gonna put it together. Maybe glue and maybe I'll just tack it with some brads or something like that. Rather than do a 3 projection view like I did with the shop stool, what I did is I just sort of slid this underneath and traced out that, and then went to some other websites and things and just added some dimensions, created a cut list, and I think we're ready to go out to the garage. And I think the first thing we need to do is like tear apart the pallets and get the raw wood. Not sure that I'm going to have enough like wide pieces to make this, but let's see. Okay, so I'm really not sure what it's going to take to get this apart, or the best way to do that. Okay, so that's my pile of wood from one pallet. I have another pallet out there that I haven't taken down yet. And so what I'm going to have to do is go through here and kind of see, how big of pieces I can cut. I don't know whether I can just cut them out. Do I need to glue some pieces together? Not sure, but that's about all I can do for today. And we'll pick this up another time.
The next morning.
So I started off with 2 pallets. The first one you saw me yesterday, I just kind of beat it apart with hammers and pry bars and whatever I could find. Then I got a pile of lumber, over here. I'm not sure how good it is though. A lot of it is split, and I don't know if it's going to be really that useful. So I thought what I would do is maybe try to do a different thing with this one. Maybe if I cut it, rather than prying it up, I won't break it so much. So let's work on that and try to do it that way. So if I just kind of got a straight edge here and draw myself a line, and then I could get my skill saw out, because none of this edge is going to be good anyway. I'm going to have to cut it all off. So if I just drew a line and then just sawed it, and then kind of do the same thing with this, maybe try to pry off the centers without breaking it, maybe I can end up with a lot of really good pieces of wood. So let's see if I can do that. So I'm just using this piece of wood. This is from my video about the shop stool. And it's nice that I have this big piece left over. And I think I can see that. And just kind of move over here and do the same thing. So if you can kind of see my line, it's not easy to see, but my line goes right here. I may want to take that one out and maybe hammer these in a little bit, just to make sure that I don't get anything caught on it. And then go there. And then I should have all these pieces. If I can take out the center, I should have all these pieces that should make some pretty good raw material for me to work with. Okay, so just kind of, that's sort of sticking up, just so they don't get caught. And then well, that was certainly a lot easier than banging them all down. That was pretty easy. Let's go over here. Okay, so let's see if, wow, there's a lot of nails in there. I think this board is going to be kind of a lost cause, but I think now I need to put it on the ground and maybe go back to the old technique. All right, so I kind of have a problem, as I have a bunch of this wood. It's pretty much garbage, but this birdhouse is kind of based on a 1x6, which is 5.5 inches wide, and everything is kind of based on that. It's all 5.5 inches wide, and I don't really have anything. This is like the widest piece that I have, and it's not even 5 inches. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to sort through some of the wood and kind of see what I can come up with. Okay, I think I have a plan. Last night, when I left the shop, I did not have a plan. And so that's kind of what I do usually if I get sort of stuck. Rather than just forging ahead and carrying on, I usually just put everything away, clean up, think about it, and hopefully time will magically come up with a plan. And I think it did. I slept on it, and I came up with a plan. Of course, we know what the problem is that I want to make a birdhouse, and I have a bunch of crappy wood from a pallet, a couple of pallets, and it's all broken and the wrong size and too small, and it's just generally would be better in a fire pit. We just cut this up and burned it, which is what we did last night when we went to Camp Pendleton. some of the bigger pieces of wood, I'd cut them up, threw them in the fire, and they were great. So to build a birdhouse, it would be much easier if I just came across like some, pieces of 1x6. This is like oak and ash and some other things like that. And just, it would be easy. Just cut the pieces out, nail or glue or screw them together, and in half an hour I'd have a birdhouse. But we're not going to do that. The idea that I had is we're going to make two birdhouses, a fancy one and a rustic one. We'll call it rustic, not fancy. So what I want to do is I need a bunch of wood that's 5.5 inches wide. That's like a 1x6 is actually 5.5. So if I ripped a bunch of these to 2 3/4, which I think I can get some 2 3/4 out of these, and then glued them together into like 5-inch strips, and then maybe even plane them down real nice, and then I could come up with some wood that would be real nice, and maybe I can cut that into the pieces that I need, because I have all of my drawing and all the cut list of the pieces that I need, and I could do that. So I want to do that. Then I want to make the second one a real rustic one, where I just take odd pieces that I have, scraps, broken pieces, and I just kind of piece them all together, kind of like the Three Little Pigs. Is that Three Little Pigs? And the one pig that built his house out of sticks, kind of like that. The one that fell down really easy. That's the one we're going to try to build. So that's my plan. Sticking to it, and let's begin. So I set my fence to 2 3/4. And I sorted out some of the wood with somewhat of a good edge that I can run it through, and I put these here kind of in the direction that I want to run them through the saw, kind of like this. So run it, I'm looking at this edge to go against this edge, and actually I got quite a few pieces here. So I'm going to run all these through to 2 3/4, then we'll put them together and we'll do some gluing, and we'll see kind of what we come up with, and then I'll probably get out the planer and start to try to plane it off. The thing I want to do though is I want to really look at these and make sure that I don't have any nails still in here. All right, so I'm not sure what I did here, but it seems like it should be enough material for a birdhouse. I may have to cut some of the scrappy parts off. So if I kind of glued all these together, okay, let's go set this aside to dry, and we'll try to come up with another one that we can glue up. I don't know, this isn't looking too good. let's plane some of this stuff. Kind of see how good we can get it. Vacuum and then we'll turn on the planer. Look how nice that looks. That looks great. Okay, so let's start like identifying some of these pieces and where they might go. Yeah, let's just make this the base. And I can true it up to 8.5. And then I think I'm going to put some gap filler in here. So let's go over to the chop saw and make it so. So it kind of occurred to me when I'm starting to chop up some of these parts to size, is that this is where I would start if I had, if I went to Home Depot and bought some 1x6, but I don't know however long. This is kind of the point that I would start. And all of the work that I've done up until now, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours worth of work, probably, just to save a few bucks by using some pallet wood. Oh well, let's just have fun with it. Let's not get bogged down in that this doesn't make any sense. Let's just realize that this whole activity doesn't make much sense, but we are going to continue on. An 8.5. Let's put that right there. Oh no. All right, so there is our base. Okay, let's see if we can break this. No, it broke the wood. It broke near the joint, but that's basically peeling off a layer of wood. Look how pretty that is. That's really pretty. Just pallet wood. Neat. Okay, so let's cut this. This is at 5.5. We'll cut it at 4.5 long, and we'll make a side. Probably cut out that knot, huh? 4.5. Okay, so there's a side. So now let's do the front and the back out of this piece. It's going to be 7.5. So let's go ahead and true this up. No, that's wrong. Not 7.5. 7.25. Right, 2. Front and back, we need 2 at 7.25. This is 5.5 inches wide, so we're good to go there. And we're just going to true this up a bit. And I'm not even measuring with the tape measure. I'm just using these measurements on here, which are not very accurate, but for what we're doing, they'll be just fine. So there's 7.25. If I do another one at 7.25, I should get two pieces that I can use as my sides. No, as my front and back. I drilled this hole. I think it's 2 1/8. That seems fine to me. I located the where the little peg is going to be, about half the distance between this and this. And I think I'm going to use this metal thing. I got a drill bit that's a little bit smaller, and I think if I just drill a hole, I can just kind of press it right in there, maybe a little dab of glue or something. But I have 2 of these, so I figured, what the heck? I cut these angles out on the saw, so I have everything for kind of the first one. This is the large top, base, small top, front, back, and 2 sides. So that's all the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I do have a bunch of material here that is kind of left over. And so I thought, well, why don't I try to maybe make a second one out of this material? So I'll see if I can get all the pieces. I have the base, and then I think the third rustic one, I might make it out of these pieces, just kind of like cutting them and putting them together. So let's see if I can get another full birdhouse out of these pieces. They came out nice. Why not, right? Okay, let's see. With this piece here, since it's a little bit thinner than the rest of them, I think I'm going to make this the sides. Since the thickness doesn't really show. So I'm going to chew this up and do 4.5. This is 5.5, and I need 2 pieces 4.5 by 5.5. Chew this up, do 4.5 and 4.5, and I'll have my 2 sides. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now we need 2 front and backs, and these are going to be 5.5 by 7.25. So I'm just going to chew this up, then put it at 7.25 and drill, and cut 2 pieces. You know what I mean. And I have a base for the rustic one. That'll be great. Now I'm just going to drill this hole for the little perch. I don't know what I want to call that. Little perching rod? I don't know. I don't know what it's called. I can drill right on here because I can use my sled as a sort of sacrificial. Now there, I didn't go all the way through. And let's see how that's going to fit. Oh, that's going to be perfect. Just a little spot of glue. Man, that's going to be great. All right, so I think we're ready for some assembly. So this is the first one. And so this is the base. So what I think I might do is start with the back, putting it on the base, and just kind of like glue and clamp it, and then put a couple of brads in there. So let's try that. Let's see how that's going to work. I'm using the Titebond 3. This is going to be outdoor. So we're going to need that outdoor protection. Plus this glue dries really fast too, which I like. I think I put way too much glue. Wow. Okay, so how do I get that out of there? Okay, so we've got the back and the base. So now we want to put on some sides. Let's see, is this a side? Okay, that's pretty much the first one done. Aside from missing a few with the brads, getting a little bit of those offline, I think it looks pretty good. What I'm going to do is put some putty all around, fill the holes, fill these holes, and then I think I have a nice color of paint that I want to paint this, and I'll put the little perch rod there too. But I think that looks pretty nice. All right, we'll just start filling all these little holes and stuff. Let's put birdhouse number 1 over here at the sanding station. It's all dry and ready to be sanded. And the only thing left is, after that, is to put the little perch in here and do some painting. So let me get the paint out of the shed, and then the next thing we'll do is assemble number 2. I think I'll make it like that. And then large top, small top, those go on last. Sides, and the back goes on first. So I think if we just glue this right here. Okay, for this one, the only thing left to do is put some putty on it and put it over in the sanding station. So we're just kind of like, this is the rustic one. I didn't really sand it very well, or at all. And just kind of fitting pieces together here, just wherever they kind of fit. Just, having fun with it. And then what I'm going to do, the only thing left is the roof pieces. So I think I'm just going to do a bunch of individual slats and just kind of put them on there until it looks good. Okay, so now what do I need to do? Cut a bunch of pieces that are 8.5 inches long, and then just kind of lay them up here. I think that's what I might do. Okay, so we'll just kind of put this one here and then figure out how big this next piece needs to be, and we'll cut that as well. All right, so let's just cut that to 8.5. I think that'll work perfectly. And I don't know if I should fill it with some putty or not. Kind of seems like it looks nice the way it is. After giving these two quick sand, really didn't take that long. Just give them a little quick sand. I glued in the center pegs and glued on some fun little decorative hearts. This one I'm going to paint with this old blue. If it's still any good. When I take off the cap, I don't know if it's still going to be any good. This one I'm going to give it another coat of this reddish brown, but it also has the perch and the hearts. And then as far as this third one here, that's just how it's going to be. It's going to be sort of a rustic one. And I may deburr some of the little nails that are sticking out there. But not sure if I'm going to do that. This one's pretty much done there. And so if we just move this over here, and we'll put a first coat on this, second coat on that, and then we'll be just about done. So I think the only thing left to do is figure out which one I want to keep and where I want to hang it. And hopefully some birds come and hang out and have a good time in a new house. So let's see what this thing looks like. Man, this is ancient. This can of paint is decades old. And I don't know, maybe I can get some use out of it. And that's pretty watery. Ew, it kind of stinks too. Oh, but it seems to stir pretty good. Wow, that looks great. I like this color. That's really pretty. There. It's pretty good for a first coat. Not too bad. I like this quick and thick for just these little teeny jobs like this. It dries pretty fast, and it adheres to all kinds of stuff like metal and not just wooden things. So perfect opportunity to use this in the perfect spot. And then we'll just smear this around a little bit and let that dry. That looks good. All right, that one we're going to call done. Okay, so I think the final step here is just putting the second coat on this. I wasn't real happy with the way these show through, so I'm hoping a second coat is really going to hide that. Then I'll put another coat once that dries, a blue, and we'll be all set. We'll be all done, ready to go find a tree and hang it. All right, so yeah, I decided to keep the rustic one. I like it the best, actually. And I put a few screws to put it in the crook of the tree. And I think some birds are going to be pretty happy with that. Hopefully. Should be kind of cool. Anyway, I think that just about does it for Scott's Garage. Hope you enjoyed watching this. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.